Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the Mage the Ascension 20th anniversary rules by Onyx Path Publishing. This actual play is performed by adults and contains adult themes. Our World of Darkness is intended for adults. Listeners should pay close attention to all listed content warnings. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., which may bear resemblance to entities living or dead, is strictly coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your storyteller. Thank you for joining us again another episode of the Old Ways Podcast. I am your storyteller this evening, Michael Diamond. My pronouns are he, him, and we are back with Mage, the Ascension of Babylon, as part of our Old Ways podcast offerings. So what I'd like to do is welcome you in as a listener, and then especially a warm welcome to our Patreon supporters. If you've not had a chance to check out what we offer over on Patreon, you can at patreon.com/theoldwayspodcast. Jump over to YouTube, subscribe there, and then hop over to Twitch and follow the channel at twitch.tv/theoldwayspodcast. With all of the propers now out of the way, we're going to get to player introductions, and that begins to my right.
Hi, I'm Allie. I play Kayleigh Hannah Godfrey. I have a mentor, and I have ignored a text message that might be important.
Yeah, clearly. And to Kayleigh's right.
This is Lecco as Dante Maxim Vargas Bailey, who is somehow supposed to retain knowledge of like 9 spheres, the tiller, the whatever, and the fabric-like barrier between worlds, while really just kind of focused on the hallucinogens in my pocket.
I absolutely love you whatevering the Tellurian. That's fantastic. And with Dante.
I'm Bunny. I play Dante's tutor, trying to build the healthy foundation for forbidden feeling knowledge and getting mostly whatevered.
Yep. As is sort of the way it goes with young mages. At the end of the table.
This is Jake playing Oliver Devereaux, and I'm currently driving through the waste a la Mad Max.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, if you're not punching the Flight of the Valkyries soundtrack as you're hammering the throttle, are you even living?
Right.
And with the Oliver.
This is Silas. I am playing Suits, and let's see if we can tempt Oliver to hit in the gas here.
How dare you? Oh, I'm certain that you can. And last, most certainly not least.
Hi, this is James, and I'll be playing Adam Harrison, who is currently temporarily short order cook at Life on Mars.
Yeah, and server, and waitstaff, and cook, and dishwasher, because you're the only one that showed up. So we are into the third hour of Las Vegas being blanketed by a somewhat apocalyptic looking and feeling dust storm. No one is sure yet when this will end. So we'll begin tonight with Kayleigh still at the church, still walking through some of the early portions of her teachings when it comes to the Celestial Chorus. She has now a mentor in a way who is going to assist her in understanding her place within the tradition and within the overall chorus itself. And he has given her a book to read on. The Father Price is actually somewhat interested in the mink. He does seem to play with it a little bit. He sort of moves it back and forth and gives it places to run around in. And he looks at you and says, "This creature is not simply an animal. Do you understand that? Have you looked at it?
No.
You may want to consider doing so."
Is that life magic? I hope that's life magic.
It could be. It could actually be several spheres at once, or maybe only certain spheres.
Would it potentially be a combination of life and prime?
It could be. really, it's up to you of what senses you wish to engage and kick on at the same time. Like, you could effectively turn on multiple senses with an Arte roll.
Okay. I think realistically, Prime's actually the one that I would channel because it would hopefully allow me to see if the pattern is more complex than a regular animal. So if I can turn that on and look at the creature, I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay. So what's your focus?
My focus is a cross for Prime.
Okay.
Essentially having awakened and I'm back in a place of worship and I'm feeling like I have started to actively reconnect with the equivalent of some kind of religion, at least a religious symbol that I'm comfortable with is an easy focusing tool to be able to tap into something.
Okay. So you have this device, you have this cross. What are you going to do with it? In what way does it become part of the effect?
So it'll be something that I rub, and the longer I rub it, the more like vision that I have that expands out so that I have a better view of nets and patterns and things.
Okay. I'll say this for the record. I'll let you get by with it this time, but
Okay,
you're going to need to come up with something a little bit more fundamental and a little bit more concrete.
that's fair. I hadn't thought that far ahead yet.
That's okay. That's what Mage is all about.
Yeah. I got one success.
Okay. So you don't really get much more other than when it comes to Sophie that there's definitely a pattern, a primal pattern within her. She glows way more than you've seen other animals glow. If you've looked at other animals with Prime, she's sort of like a blinking, almost like a blinking light going back and forth.
Okay.
She seems to get charged up. Like when she runs real fast, you can see she gets brighter. And then she does little flops and rolls. Dante, you arrive at the church.
All right, so then I will head inside to get out of the damn sand.
Yeah.
And dust myself off in the foyer. Try not to get any debris in any holy basins. I will batter myself to make sure that I will self-flagellate my dust off.
Yeah, that works.
And I will look for Kayleigh or Father Price or whomever happens to be in church.
You see a couple of people down deeper into the sanctuary towards the pulpit, but what you see running towards you is a shock of white fur.
I brace for impact.
It lands and collides with you. I haven't looked on the Dante's character sheet in a while, but Sophie has traits, right?
I mean, I haven't mapped her out, but she's a companion. She's
Right.
a 1-point companion.
Well, we'll get to that.
I mean, she's an exceptional specimen.
When she hits you, it's like getting hit by an electrical current.
Whoa! What is going on? I will do my best to, I guess, write that off as static running across the carpet. She had a long stretch, right? From like the altar to the door. So I'll chalk up to static shock, and I will give her a healthy greeting dance, so that she knows that I recognize her before I head any further in, and I will settle her into my hood.
Yeah, you can continue on with what you were doing, Kayleigh, before Dante walked in the door. I just want to make sure he's physically here now.
I wave and kind of jog forward.
Good morning.
Kayleigh, Padre, thank you so much for taking care of her. Hope she wasn't too much trouble.
Oh, no, not at all. Happy to help out.
Hey, Kayleigh, I didn't want to cause any imposition, but the guys are looking for us to meet up, and I didn't necessarily want to bring them here, because this isn't my place to share. So, figured if you want to meet them, we can. Otherwise, I can have them pick me up somewhere nearby.
Then I'll look at the father. Is there anything else to cover today that you'd like
No,
to?
you have your reading material. I suggest that you get to that, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. When should I expect to come back? Tomorrow?
9 a.m.
Okay. Yeah, they can pick us up here, Dante. That's fine.
All right. Oh, as I send Oliver the address, I will point at the. I guess, is there like books around?
No. I mean, hymnals, yes.
Okay. Anything in your reading material about the Tellurian? Am I saying? Yeah. See, he knows the word.
I'd assume somebody awake for so long would.
It's a pretty important word.
That's what I heard. I was just asking if there was anything in there about it.
Perhaps. It's a large subject.
That's what I heard. As in, it encompasses like everything, right?
Yeah.
Crazy. It sounds really big.
It just felt like a word you should know as a building block for future knowledge. Don't stress about it too much right now.
There's an entire lexicon of words for you to learn.
Well, I'm definitely looking to expand my vocabulary. I'm not sure how long it's going to take the guys to get here. So any time spent out of the sand is leisure time for me. Pointed at Pew. You mind if I sit?
Not at all. Would you like something to drink?
Actually, yeah. It's a little dry out there. I don't know if you noticed.
I'll get you some water.
Sand takes it right out of you.
He heads out back towards his office, leaving the two of you there.
I really do appreciate it, Kayleigh. It means the world to me.
That you're
Sophie.
Sophie. Okay. What is she?
She's mink.
Oh, okay. She's different.
I mean, if you mean exceptional, I would agree. I pet her. You know, when I face planted through that stage and I thought that I died and went to a strange, I don't know, life flashing before my eyes point of birth? I had this whole, anyway, Tutor told me that that Sophie would kind of see me on my way, you know, on my journey. So I mean, I've always known she was important. She's always been special. She's always taken well to training, and we've always kind of gotten along. I know my place, and she knows hers. But I guess it all kind of made sense. You know, the path that I took. She inspires me to do a lot. So I guess she's different, sure. Did you mean something else?
I don't know. She seems brighter. Like she has more energy than an average animal.
Do I feel like I have more energy?
Not really.
Okay. I felt zapped though. I got tased.
Yeah, you definitely got zapped. You can erase the 2 points of paradox if you still hold them in your pattern.
Oh, no, we got rid of those when I had my crushing headache. Backlash number 1. We haven't gotten to backlash number 2 yet because, well, I haven't earned any paradox yet. So when you say brighter, you mean like, I don't really know how to, you mean like magically?
I guess. Like she glows.
Are you magic, Sophie?
She looks at you and then sort of like barrel rolls on her belly.
there's your answer.
Oh my god, she's so cute.
She's adorable. Dante, in any of the stories you've been told in your life or have read or whatever, have you ever encountered the concept of like a witch's familiar, that type of thing in stories?
Oh, like Gargamel and that cat, right?
Sure.
Or like the witch and the monkeys. Is she my flying monkey? Are you a flying monkey?
Are you comparing your mink to Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, the tutor's asking me if I've ever heard about something, like a witch's familiar. I'm taking pot shots where I can get them.
Oh, that would make sense.
I was just trying to broach that concept in a way that you might have context for even before you awoke.
Yes, I've seen Wicked. I loved it.
Huh. Tutor will take a pause and just manifest enough for you to like be staring at you dead-eyed and then go, I'm not saying she's a flying monkey or like something from this Wicked thing. I'm just saying that she's sort of your companion.
Well, hold on. I'm going to need you to not disparage the good name of one of the greatest shows ever made in my lifetime, okay? You'll
Dante?
watch it.
I will.
I got to interject here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please do.
When Tutor manifests, you see that there is a fine layer of dust covering her body.
What's all that?
I am deeply uncomfortable with this.
Well, now I am too, thank you.
This is from the storm, I believe, she says, just sort of looking at herself.
Padre? Something wrong with my tutor.
I'd like to look outside of the church door. What's this like on my side of things? What does this storm look like?
So Vegas looks a little different in the Umbra, or in your space within the mystical realms. It looks a little different than it would to the mundane and also to the mystical. But there is, in fact, a very fine layer of dust over all objects. It's like a pleasant little coating of snow on everything, if snow was dust.
I wish I could find this pleasant. I'm going to go back to Dante. Dante, everything... Do you remember when I mentioned that Umbra earlier? Everything is covered in dust from the storm on my side, too, in a way that I don't love, including myself. Will you talk to the father, please?
I mean, I did bellow in a church.
It is a sanctuary, so it's going to carry, because the building is basically designed to hold sound. He walks back up a little, not fast by any means, but he has some spring there. I was able to find a couple of bottles of water. Hopefully that'll help.
Can I wash my tutor off with it?
Wash your what?
There's dust on my imaginary friend. Avatar. Really? Really? That's the word?
Many avatars take the name very seriously. It's a title, an important one.
I don't have a better name for it.
I would never reference mine as my imaginary friend.
Well, she was a hallucination until 3 days ago. So, but there's something wrong with her.
There's something wrong with her?
She thinks so. She said there's dust all over her and everything on the other side.
Umbra.
Use
the word Umbra.
And the Umbra.
Yeah, he takes a locket out from under his vestments, and it looks like a couple of circles that are patterned in with one another, and then there's this sort of sweeping 4-star pattern in it. And when he takes it in hand, you feel like the vibration in the room change. Like there is something happening. You can't see anything that's happening, but he recites this series of words in Latin and then lets go of his, the symbol, whatever he's wearing around his neck. This is distressing. He looks genuinely concerned.
See, I feel like you're not being specific because you don't like the answer and you don't want to share it with us. So I'm going to kind of let you sit on that because I believe you that it's probably scary.
The effect, the unchaining, the eruption that happened at the sphere last night, where you all were taking in the event. That eruption happened on both sides of the veil.
Mm-hmm.
Physically here in our world and also mystically speaking in the Umbra. This dust storm is happening physically and also happening in effect, one could say spiritually, in this mirror realm. We'll need to get to the bottom of it.
We?
Oh, certainly.
Who's we?
All of us, I'd assume.
I assume that there will be others that
Kayleigh? Like, what the fuck did we just sign up for? I don't say anything.
It is something that affects us all.
So the dust storm is a direct result from the events last night?
I can't confirm that, but I'm certain that there's likely a hermetic wizard in the city already trying.
Dante, didn't Oliver mention the Hermetics before?
This is not some hermits.
Speaking of them, Oliver, you arrive at life on Mars. It is clearly closed.
Right. Hit the horn a few times.
Okay. Adam, you hear that?
He makes sure everything is closed, shut off, and cleaned up. Grabs the stack of foam clamshell boxes filled with food,
right,
and puts them in a bag, ties it up so they don't blow over, and locks the door behind him and shuffles out into the car. Quick step.
Okay.
Hops in, slams the door. Hey, thanks for the ride, man. Oh, here. Wait, I don't want to eat in the car. It's not mine.
Oh, all right. Oh, you acting like the roads are dangerous?
No, I just don't want to make a mess in here and then get in trouble.
Oh. Yeah, you don't want to get goo in Dad's car.
Right.
I got you.
We're going to go to church.
Gotcha.
All right.
I would like you to make a dex drive roll at the church.
2 successes.
That is the number you need. About 15 or so minutes later, you end up at the front of the church.
Beep, beep.
Inside, Kayleigh and Dante hear a car horn from outside.
I don't know if they'll know it's me.
Beep again. And if not, we can always send a text. Hey, man, we got to be careful out here. The city is just the shit I saw on the way over, man. The city's going to lose its mind soon.
Hit it again a few times.
The horn gets insistent.
I guess that's our cue, Dante.
Father, are we going to be okay going out in this? The spiritual sandstorms and whatnot? Is it going to blow over?
It may. If it doesn't, let me pray with you. He puts a hand on your shoulder.
Okay.
He puts a hand on Kayleigh's shoulder.
Yay!
You oddly become like this sort of weird triangle for a second. And he begins like intoning words. And for lack of a prepared speech the father might make, he asks that the creator of all beings watch over you and protect you. And should the need arise, you have but call, and the Father will be with you. I'm gonna roll some dice. So you've the three of you. If you've ever been in a space where sound harmonizes and you can hear the bounce back echo effect of tones like harmonizing in the same time?
Yep.
There's almost this sonic warble that happens.
Mm-hmm.
That is what the two of you hear. It's almost like someone hit a tuning fork right in the middle of the three of you. And you hear all of those vibrational energies. And you feel the air around you get a little firmer. It's a very strange feeling. It's almost like the air has a little bit of resistance when you walk through it. Kind of feels like when it's really fucking humid outside.
Amen.
Amen. Now, be careful. And if you have a need, call.
Dante, would you ask the father one question for me before we leave to meet your friends?
My avatar has a question for you, Father.
They are a curious lot.
Go on.
Does it feel like the gauntlet is thinning in Vegas?
Does it feel like the gauntlet is thinning in Vegas? What?
You familiar with what the gauntlet is?
Fabric between worlds?
Yes.
Yeah. The boy can be taught.
Is an unseen, mostly mystical barrier that stands between the physical realm and the umbral realms. When you are in a place which is deeply metropolitan, like the Strip, the gauntlet is very strong. It is hard for spiritual effects and spirits to interact with the physical realm because they cannot pass through that thick blanketing, right? But if I go out into the desert, into the middle of nowhere, and I wait for the moon or the sun to be in a proper position, I might find myself in a place where the gauntlet is very thin. And what that will allow you to do is potentially interact with spirits in that space.
But not at a shopping mall.
Deeply metropolitan places, like he said, like the Strip. That feels similar.
I nod like I know what I'm talking about. Right.
Time to go.
Thanks again, Doc. I grabbed both waters that he brought, put one in the bag and pop the other one.
Okay. Outside, there is a vehicle. It is a 4-door American sedan.
I will hustle over to the car. I do that awkward thing where like someone goes onto the driver's side where they can't get in and like knock on the window and like wave.
Unlock, get in the back.
Climbing. I let the wind blow for way too long.
You did.
As I get myself and like my bag into the car and
Get in the car, God.
I'm coming. Shut the door.
In the car ASAP. I'm gonna open the door just enough so that I can slip in without having to have it wide open.
So I blast Kayleigh with sand.
Yeah, so something that the current occupants of the car are going to pick up on real quick. When they get in the car, the dust that's here sort of bounces off of them. And like when you see just the little sprinkling of dust and whatnot that's around, you see that like when Dante is sitting in the back seat, you see that dust isn't collecting on him.
What do you got, some kind of force field?
We're on a mission from God.
Adam half turns around and offers a stack of foam wrapped boxes, sandwiches.
What did I tell you about eating in the car?
I'm just handing it to them.
Appreciate it.
And you all head to the library.
They've got the taint of the church on them, don't they? We'll see how that goes.
So the father said something about he's in the know, by the way. I don't know if y'all know, but he's an informed fellow. Mentioned that there might be some hermetic wizards looking to
the order,
assess the situation. The order.
Yeah, that's where we're going right now.
Her,
they want to interview us because we actually witnessed it, or John does.
Interview who?
Us.
Oh, all of us.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. While this is going on, it's probably going to set Oliver off. But as I've been handed food, I'm going to, while I'm talking to Oliver and just kind of looking at him in the eyes, I'm going to kind of mindlessly disassemble the burger into its various components, put the ones that I'm not going to eat back into the lid, close it up, put it in the bag, and wait until we're done before I consume the remaining pieces of the burger that I'm going to eat.
Yeah, really the only thing you end up ditching is the lettuce because it's effectively filler.
Sure.
Everything else, ingredients-wise, is reasonably quality.
Cool. I will cheers Adam while, talking to Oliver.
I love the idea of the two of you cheersing sandwiches.
Squat.
Right.
Across the front and back seat. Yeah, it's that kind of thing.
Aioli everywhere.
Oh my God.
Does Suits have sand all over him? Dust?
Oh, yeah, because you used to be able to see Suits here. Yes, he does. 'Cause he's been out. Although not very much, but some.
Okay.
And Suits would also notice that Tudor is here and she'd be dusty. We got to get her some lotion.
Hey, fellas, question for you. I know it's going to sound a little out there, but it's that kind of week, right? What are your opinions on serotonergic psychedelics?
Oh, they're fun.
You holding?
I look at Kayleigh. Supposed to say no, right?
I'm not the morality police.
Holy shit, Dante. I didn't even think about hallucinogens. Oh, shit.
Well, it's actually really funny, right? Because specifically what we'd be looking for is some sort of evidence of like spontaneous brain activity or visual hallucinations. Because anyway, it was thought I had, and my avatar doesn't approve.
Hey, I did not say I disapprove.
I read this fantastic book by Carlos Castaneda that I'm going to have to dig out of my trailer.
I mean, but if you're familiar, don't eat them in the car, right? Because it'll make Oliver really mad. But they seem reasonable to me. Now, just for the storyteller's sake, Dante is familiar with. I mean, he would know if they were bunk or bogus.
Oh yeah,
that's where his medicine specialty is on supplementation, and
it's true. So, are you saying you're looking them over with? Well, they wouldn't be life; it'd be matter at this point because they're not alive.
Well, I'm not looking them over. I'm saying like from just a purely like functional perspective, like they're not rotten. They are reasonably dried or properly prepared psilocybin.
Sure. I'm going to roll this D10.
Okay.
And this D10 is going to determine the relative potency of what you've got.
Okay. That will indicate my dosage.
Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, the potency of this bag is roughly an 8.
Okay. We should be able to get by it relatively little.
May I just say that I don't know whether to be proud or disappointed of the fact you are willing to cheers sandwiches together, but will not eat a mushroom in the car.
We didn't eat the sandwiches.
I told him not to eat the sandwiches.
We're not eating the sandwiches.
Can we eat the sandwiches now?
I think he's saying we can eat the mushrooms now.
No, you can't eat. Well, you can't eat the mushrooms yet.
I put them away.
Love it. You get to the library.
So, as we're walking in, so you said John wanted to talk to us. Who's John?
Oh, John's the guy who runs the library. He's part of the Order of Hermes.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, only him. He's only part of the Order of Hermes.
I said he's part of the Order of Hermes. I didn't say he was the Order of Hermes.
No, I know. I'm casually noticing that you're leaving yourself out of the whole Order of Hermes thing.
Am I misremembering that Father said wizard? Did he say wizard or did he say mage? I don't remember specifically a word.
He may have said wizard.
I think he just said a hermetic.
Well, that could
Yeah, he just said a hermetic.
Okay. Yeah, I was calling them hermit wizards.
I also don't consider myself a hermetic yet.
Oh, so you're like going to sign on. Like,
do some hermetic magic. Why don't you?
I mean, yeah, but
they're teaching you stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like
You
what?
mentioned the Order of Hermes the first time we ever met him.
Yeah, I know. It's been a few days
Since what? Been a few days since what?
since, we heard anything.
Oh, okay.
Storyteller, how long is the walk to this library door?
Not long.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just making small talk, man.
Okay. You get inside. So for those of you who have not been to the library before, this is we'll just say contemporary library as far as it looks like on the outside. It does not look very large on the outside. I would say it is small to medium sized as far as the library goes. And it does say on the sign outside that it is a private library. So this is not meant for the public. That is something you'd pick up on. Also, there does seem to be someone inside the lobby of said library who has an awful lot of chalk writing going on.
On a chalkboard?
Huge
Oh.
chalkboard in here. There's a middle-aged woman who walks over to you, and this is Sherry. She walks over to the group. Everybody come back okay?
Yeah. The car's fine, John. Car's fine.
Oh, good. That helps. Give us the keys, would you?
Toss him the keys. So this is Dante, Kayleigh, and Adam.
Nice to meet you.
Gestures a hello, still holding his sandwich.
Sherry introduces herself. You immediately, like, if there's a vibe that she gives off like, well, librarian vibe first. But she also gives off like elementary school teacher vibes. So
She's wild.
oh yeah, when no one's looking, you bet.
Evening, ma'am. I'm sorry to intrude.
Oh,
Thank you for having us.
No, that's okay. The library's been closed today, so it's good to have guests.
Is it all right if my friend and I find a place to devour these sandwiches?
Yes, eat.
Thank you.
Right here is fine.
Wonderful. Points at his bag. You can eat that?
John comes over after he, steps and puts his chalk down. He looks at the group and sort of nods. Good. Is this all of them?
Yes.
Well, my name is John Crescent, Order of Hermes, Benny Bonasages.
Come again?
He sort of furrows his brow.
You lost me at Benny.
Hana? No. I don't. Yeah, I didn't get it either. But it's very nice to meet you, sir.
You can call me John. I'm a member of the Order of Hermes.
Yeah, okay, so that term's been thrown around a couple of times now. Is this one of those groups I was hearing about where, like-minded individuals all kind of doing the same thing?
Yeah, sort of. All I would say is that the Order of Hermes does many different things. And so even if you're a person who sort of has something unique and quirky, the Order probably has a place for you.
So you're like a book club?
We are a mystical tradition.
Oh,
Dante, remember how I talked to the father and he said he was a chorister, a celestial chorister?
mm-hmm.
It's another group like those. There were one of those roughly for each of those spheres I mentioned earlier. It's not that they're the only ones allowed to use those spheres, but there's about the same number of them.
While all these words are happening in my head, I am nodding and going, to John.
It'll make you seem like you know what's happening more in these conversations. I'm trying to help, pretty boy.
You all realize that Dante seems to be nodding and humming. Mm-hmm.
You have to forgive him. I think he may have added too many toppings to his sandwich. You cool, Dante?
Yep. I get into the sandwich.
Oh, so the house I mentioned, Bonus Aegis, within the Order of Hermes, there are houses, and that is who I belong to. You can see he sort of like beams with pride.
I do everything I can to avoid making a Hogwarts joke as I continue my sandwich.
Dante, if I remember correctly, they're the ones that specialize in magical theory. So they're theoreticists. They work on theories, specifically for magic. That's what their job is. So it makes sense he's a librarian. Does that track, Dante?
Yeah, so all this stuff makes a whole lot of sense to you, right? Like math.
Well, I find it fascinating. And after a few attempts at gathering a series of thoughts that I could perhaps put down into a paper at some point, I thought it might be useful if I had perspective on what happened. As many of you were there, yes?
Yes, all four of us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, best, worst day of my life.
But I'm not the sort of person who's here to sugarcoat anything. When you're ready, see me at the chalkboard. He sort of walks away, a little absent-mindedly.
I'll just go to the chalkboard.
So what do you do at the chalkboard and the folks listening in the background of the scene? John launches into what he believes is a ill-prepared dissertation on the subject. John speaks without a break for 30 minutes. No drinks of water, no pausing for a Q&A. If people ask questions, he steamrolls over them to get his thought out.
So as someone who likely got steamrolled, what I will do after the steamrolling is I will keep my mouth shut, and I'm going to microdose 0.1 grams of psilocybin while he talks.
Okay.
And I will slide the same dosage across the table to my friend Adam with a napkin.
Who will look at it and take about one blink's length of time before he consumes it as well.
Now this conversation is a whole lot more interesting.
So how far into this dissertation do I lose all track of what's happening?
Oh, probably within a minute or two.
Okay. So I'm just going to be standing there staring at the board, like eyes flickering between the board and John going, I don't know any of this shit. And I have that like awkward smile on my face of like, yep, you're way smarter than I have any right to be dealing with.
Yeah, so what I'm going to allow for is for everybody who's here for it to make a intelligence and occult roll.
Oh.
And that is 2 successes minimum.
Yeah, I don't have a cult. I have esoterica, and it's not in this stuff.
Yeah, no.
So unless he's talking like yogi, spiritual theory, mind's eye stuff, nope.
Whereas Tudor is going to be trying so hard to pay attention to this while Dante is not.
You know what? I did really well because I got 2 10s. So I have 5 successes.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I am
Okay, so
genuinely surprised. It's the best roll I'm going to have for the next 3 sessions. So.
Okay, Jake.
0.
Okay. And then Adam.
2.
Okay. So the idea that he puts forth is, in effect, that there was a large, somewhat unbelievable buildup of energy within the localized umbral space. That localized space is directly around the dome, that sphere. At a specific time and place, it could not contain all of the potential energy it held, And so it released that energy. When it did, the local primal energy lines were contorted and twisted. And soon after, this dust storm arrived. He does also plot out spikes in the energy pattern, which are consistent for those of you who got successes like Kayleigh. They're consistent with the attempts that you saw by that spirit in the elevator and in the dressing room. All those line up. And so you see, when you take the totality of the theory itself, it's relatively straightforward. But there are some complications. Any questions?
Forehand shoot up.
Pretty much.
I honestly think Dante is not going to have any questions. However, he is likely lost in whatever it is he is seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that Dante is going to try to take this opportunity to finally get a glimpse of the stuff that people keep talking about.
Yeah.
This subatomic essential element that fills the empty space and binds things together, but is not the Force.
It's not.
It may be. It might be. I don't know. But I would like to, for the first time, use my prime senses, or try
Fun.
to.
I like that. Roll Arte.
2 successes.
Yeah. First of all, this place is juiced. Everything in here glows to some extent. There's stuff on John that glows. When you look around at the rest of the crew that's here, you all sort of have this internal pulsing energy that happens. Like, you still have quintessence in your pattern, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So you can see that you're like actively humming. And that is where the shrooms kick in. And things get a little different. Like, all of your veins seem to throb with that same sort of prime energy. Like, you can watch the energy get pushed around in your body based in and around your own heartbeat. Although it's not a heartbeat signal, it sort of thrums in a different way. And for those around Dante, there are some obvious things that they notice, right? So he's looking at things a little differently, very intently. It does kind of remind you of some of your college days.
Squinting super hard.
Yes, super hard.
I can see, like you're saying, I can see this kind of convalescing mass of energy inside me, like in my pattern.
Yeah. You can absolutely see the quintessence in your pattern.
So how are you feeling about the second time seeing it?
I have a really fun idea. I'm gonna slide my hand across the table and kind of like E.T. touch Adam on the top of the hand.
Oh, whoa, yeah. Whoa, hey.
Hold still. And I'm going to try to shunt a bit of it.
You should be able to do that with Prime too.
Yeah, just a little, just a little bit.
Sort of squeeze off around, quote unquote.
I'm gonna do what
right onto Adam's head.
I feel like Sophie did to me. I'm gonna
expel.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're gonna try to expel it into his pattern.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to infuse Adam with a point of quintessence.
I love that. I love that for you. So give me an Arte roll.
Do tens explode on Arte rolls or
They
no?
do.
Or do they count as 2? What is it?
They explode.
Okay. So that is 3 successes.
Okay, Adam, you get juiced.
Whoa. Oh, that's not helping the body buzz at all.
Awesome.
How you feeling?
That was awesome. Great. I jump out of the chair.
I need to ask really quick, Dante, what is your pattern? What is your what's your avatar's essence?
Pattern.
Okay. Adam, what's your essence?
Dynamic.
Ooh, buddy. So that feeling that you get, Adam, is a little sort of constricted. Imagine a really itchy pair of polyester pants.
Oh.
Uh,
Oh, it's itchy on the inside. Oh.
Oh, yes, it is. Ever since they were developed in the 70s, you bet.
He kind of drags his hand back and forth across the tabletop to get some other sensation into his hand and arm, but still notes that it was something. That was fucked up.
You see John react at the chalkboard. He looks between the two of you.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. Sit down.
He started it, Mr. Crescent.
Are you listening?
So what you're explaining is that some sort of spiritual parasite formed a blister in our world, and eventually the blister caused all of the veins to go to the blister until it popped and it got escaped into our world? If the veins were energy?
That's a reasonable summation, although a bit elementary, but...
So you have to forgive me, I'm on shrooms right now. Although these aren't as strong as you were saying they were.
Oh, I have an elixir that could cure that if you'd like.
His cufflinks are glowing.
You just paid money for... Oh, no, yes, actually, ooh, yeah. No, we'll keep that in mind. Thank you. No.
He turns to you, Oliver.
Yes.
So, what should the order do about it?
Well, obviously, we have to untangle this mess.
Mm-hmm. The order charges you with finding whatever this entity is, locating it, and determining as much as you can about it. It will be your first ordeal.
Okay.
John, was it?
Yes.
Real quick, Adam, kind of like he's in school, puts his hand up. I'm sorry. But do you have a place where we can practice these things without that scary shit that a friend of ours kept kind of threatening us? That's really one of the things that I've been the most leery about, as I'd prefer not to turn inside out or some shit.
The rug burns, right?
Paradox.
Yeah, that was the stuff.
Do I have a place you could do things at? Maybe.
Or like a local gym or something. I mean,
Yes, perhaps a danger room straight from the X-Men.
hey, you said it, not me, but while we're here.
Not the way those things work, Adam. But I do have a space which, if your workings are close enough to what I do, then you could certainly use that for effects. His eyes sort of bulge out a little bit when he says effects.
I thank you. I mean, obviously, I don't think I'm anywhere close to that, but it's good to know. It's a good business card to make sure I have in my pocket. Thanks.
For now, we need to locate whoever this woman was.
Do we have books in the library that have the names of some of these umbral spirits?
Names that we potentially give them, but true names, no. There's a lot of power in a spirit's true name. See?
Right. Well, I was more concerned. Maybe this is somebody that somebody else has run into before, and they may have written it down.
Possibly. All right. I don't do this lightly. He walks over to a set of double doors that are at the far end of the room. If you're all willing to be good stewards of information, I can grant you some temporary access to the library. Well, this is a little befuddling, right? Because what you're seeing around you right now is like a small library with bookshelves on the wall. And he's walked somewhere else and he said hey, this is the library.
I do love to read.
So this is like the book foyer?
In a manner of speaking, yes.
Excellent.
He opens the door. You see a vast library. I would just say, for example, at a collegiate level. So when you open a college library, you would see bookshelves. at least from the outside.
So it's more books then.
Wow.
Totally not a book club.
This is really interesting. This is neat. Thanks for showing us this, man. Adam kind of walks in and looking around.
Yeah, now everything is categorized and everything is documented and occasionally cleaned up by, entities. Peaceful, pleasant ones.
Is there a place you recommend we start?
Umbral Magics, the Encyclopedia of Unknown Entities. And there are a few. The tomes are rather large. They're going to take you time to get through. And you'll also have to remember that each one is probably 5 to 10 years old. And so it may not even have the information you're looking for.
I'd like to go to that encyclopedia.
There's only one way to find out. I would just caution you all this. Umbral spirits, especially those that might come from the deep Umbra, can be very dangerous. They can be filled with energy and memories from eons. Sometimes umbral spirits get trapped places. And when they do, they have nothing to do but stew. And when they stew, they can become quite unstable. So tread lightly.
You know, John, I'm kind of reassessing my instincts here. And something happened this morning. And I didn't really think anything of it. But when I woke up and I caught wind of the storm, I felt something watching me. And not like I got the idea that something was watching me, like I was certain something was watching me. But there was nothing there.
Do you mind if I assess you?
Is it going to hurt?
It shouldn't.
You say shouldn't, like it might. You know what? Go ahead. I sit down.
I just say it for clear. You actually find a nice armchair, like
Hell
in
yeah.
immediate step distance. There's like a table here where you could have coffee and put books on. And there's another chair and another.
This is what college was like? Would have been like?
Adam leans over to Oliver. Hey, do you think I should tell him about my neighbors?
Oh, I've actually told him about the...
He takes out a magnifying glass and literally looks over you with this massive magnifying glass.
I do my absolute best not to laugh.
His eye looks enormous.
I mean, his cufflinks are glowing. Is the magnifying glass glowing too?
No.
Okay.
Magnifying glass looks totally mundane as far as you can see. His eye, though, is not. Like, it has like a multicolored facet around it as he looks at you.
I stare back at him with one eye open, like in that eye.
Well, interesting.
You know, I've never had a doctor say that and not have bad news. I've seen a lot of doctors, sir.
There's something I'm sensing here. I'm seeing with your avatar.
Her name's Tudor.
Oh, he can see me?
I don't know. Can you see her?
No. But the after image that you walk around with, your avatar, there's something on it. It's like dust.
Yeah, the storm dust is all over her. She was complaining about it earlier.
Tell him it's on everything in the Umbra.
It's on everything in the Umbra.
Everything?
I mean, literally.
Tell him that it's like a light dusting of snow in the Umbra on everything.
Yeah, she's saying everything's
Dante,
dusted, like snow.
Tell him if I could.
He puts his hand on your shoulder, but not completely. And he seems to almost wipe down from like your collarbone to your bicep. And when you see him do this and his hand comes away, you see there is dust on his fingertips.
That's a cool trick.
That should not be possible. Tudor, your left shoulder, as it appears in your avatar form, clearly has marks on it now.
Oh, I'm going to manifest for Dante. And I'm going to point at where he touched Dante and now has marks for me in the dust.
I have no idea what that's supposed to mean.
He brushed it off of me just now when he did that to you.
All right, so does it mean he can get the rest off?
That's not normal.
I should not be able to touch your avatar.
Oh, that's not normal.
No.
I mean, how much of this is normal, really?
It takes powerful spirit and prime magics. Ours, which are very critical to what we would do, to even get close enough to do something like this. There is something very, very wrong
With my avatar?
with Las Vegas.
Oh,
Dante, I would not usually ask this, but the thing that you did last night in the church, would you be able to do it again?
oh, and I was really mad at you. I don't know. Do I have to? I'm like really high right now.
Have to.
I mean, if you want to talk to this guy, look, John, my avatar is really enthusiastic and wants to talk to you.
I understand. Directed to this lectern, he turns and you see what looks like a guest book. It's a really big guest book. There is a pen and quill there, and she can write into her heart's intent. Anything she needs to.
He wants me to sign his guest book.
No, I think he wants you to write what you're trying to say.
Okay, I'll walk over to it and I will express my concerns that the spirit woman in the sphere seemed to touch all the mages through the gauntlet, and that I think that the gauntlet in Vegas has thinned, and also express my true both concern while also being impressed by the fact he managed to just dust that off of me. Those will be the starting thoughts that I scribble just to see if it works.
So one of the things that is almost, it's sort of exciting, is that when you go to the lectern, you reach for the pen, there's something within you that thinks, I'm likely not going to be able to touch this because it's a physical thing, but you can actually pick the pen up.
That is very cool. I'll also compliment this setup.
There's an awful lot of like for externally for the rest of you that are in here, the lectern has a varying amount of geometric, what you can only see is shapes and adornments on the side of it. And while this is going on, you can see the lectern is actually glowing, like while Tutor is writing.
It's quite interesting there, Oliver. You should get me one of those.
Yes, another fascinating tool.
Yeah, I'll get right on that.
I pay very close attention to Tutor's penmanship.
Now, if he sort of looks over at the guest book as the words are appearing, if your avatar is right that the gauntlet thinned during whatever expression of energy happened, it would tend to line up with my theory. We'll need a few special books. And then the hunt begins.
What's cracking?
Okay, so I'm going to call our episode to a close there. And I look forward to the hunt for an umbral spirit next time. Thank you and good night.